It's been 6 months since I purchased a Google Pixel 7. So what have I liked about the Pixel 7 over the past 6 months? Well, first is face unlock and build quality. Google made some small but actually significant refinements to the Pixel 7's design. It looks more elegant with its brushed aluminum camera bar, which is now one piece. The phone is also just a really nice size, and I'm able to easily slip it into my pocket. Face unlock has finally made its way back into the Pixel line after first debuting on the Pixel 4 and 4 XL. This is a huge quality of life improvement over previous Pixels, including the Pixel 6a. It just makes unlocking the phone much more convenient, and it feels faster. The Pixel 7 this year, like the 7 Pro, comes with Google's latest generation of Tensor processor, Tensor 2. And overall, this phone has felt incredibly snappy, less likely to heat up while gaming, and a few new photo processing features like Photo Unblur. Photo Unblur is actually a very useful feature because unlike other Pixel camera features like the time-lapse or the motion one, Photo Unblur can be applied to normal photos that you're trying to take. But you can also use Photo Unblur for any photo taken from any camera as long as it's in Google Photos on the Pixel 7. This feature is especially useful in scenarios where you don't have a ton of light. When that happens, typically the shutter speed on the camera will slow down to compensate for that lack of light, but that can then lead to blurrier subjects. I found that I pick up a Pixel 7 or Pixel 7 Pro over my iPhone almost every time when I'm going out to a family event or event I know I'm going to want to take photos, because the Pixel camera system this year, it just produces better photos than the iPhone. Google continued to improve this generation's camera system. The Pixel 7 now has a 50 megapixel wide sensor, which gets you significant improvements in certain areas like low light, for example, especially compared to something like the Pixel 6a. The only difference between the 7 and 7 Pro camera systems this year is the additional 48 megapixel telephoto camera on the 7 Pro. Video quality is another thing that Google continued to improve with their Pixel line. They've really closed the gap on the iPhone with the Pixel 7 this year to the point where pretty much all the footage I've taken with the Pixel 7, it's been usable. The only thing that annoyed me this year was HDR video. I accidentally turned it on and I forgot I left it on, so I ended up with a bunch of recordings of HDR videos, and they just don't look great. Now, while HDR in movies and TV shows, to me at least, typically looks great as long as the right equipment was used, exposed correctly, and then all the post-production stuff was good. I'm looking at you, House of Dragon on HBO. That scene was too dark. For the Pixel camera system though, HDR videos seem to be overexposed in a lot of situations. And whether or not this is an actual issue with the file itself or just the playback of that file on either the Pixel 7 or on something like macOS, I'm not really sure what is the issue here, but regardless, the footage just, it doesn't look good. The Pixel 7's camera system also gets you upgraded laser autofocus compared to the 6a, an upgraded 10.8 megapixel selfie camera compared to the 8 megapixel on the 6a. The battery life on the phone has also been good over the past 6 months. I think it should easily last most people all day. The last thing I really like about the Pixel 7 that, to me at least, day-to-day use does make a difference is the screen refresh rate. Having a faster refresh rate on the 7 compared to the 60Hz screen of the 6a does feel like a nicer quality experience. So what do I not like about this phone? Well, mainly the screen. It still has those noticeable purple and green screen refractions that we've seen in other cheaper OLED phone screens. If you use dark mode, you can lessen that effect, but I'm still kind of bummed that Google decided not to improve the screen quality on the 7 compared to last year's 6. Another thing that's slightly annoying with the design of the Pixel 7 is its back glass. While it does support wireless charging and battery share, which is great, it's very slick. So slick, in fact, I found it slides off my wireless charger on my desk. So do I recommend getting a 7, and when should you just go for the 6a or go up to the 7 Pro? I do recommend the Pixel 7, but only for certain people. If you're just looking for a phone that brings a ton of value that's low cost, I'd actually recommend looking at the Pixel 6a. I think if you just want a phone that covers the basics, but you don't need the fancy upgrades like the 90Hz screen refresh rate, wireless charging, or upgraded camera system, the 6a is a better buy. But let's say you do want that premium economy economy phone? Well, the Pixel 7 does get you quite a few upgrades. You get 1000 nits of brightness with 1400 nits of peak brightness, wireless charging, and battery share, 8 gigs of RAM, face unlock, Tensor 2, a 50 megapixel wide camera sensor with better autofocus, a 10.8 megapixel selfie camera, and photo unblur. Now, what about the 7 Pro? That's the phone you'd want to go for if you want the best screen quality, best camera system from Google, a larger screen size, and the most premium build. To see my full thoughts on the 7 Pro, you can click here to get to that review, or click here to see my full thoughts on the brand new Pixel Watch, which pairs perfectly with any Pixel device, as well as other reviews I've done on other Pixel products, and consider subscribing to the channel to see future reviews on Pixel products, as well as giving this video a thumbs up if you liked it and found it helpful. For 6 months later, I'm Josh Tedder. Thanks for watching.